we are in this time of awakening. We're in this time when the meek are inheriting the earth. And we're in a time now. And I gave one or two quick examples, but there are thousands of examples out there, thousands of examples. And if you look out for the next 10 years, for the next 20 years, you're going to see more and more and more examples. Hey, how are you doing? It's Al here from Look for Warriors, and I want to talk about something that I never really understood for a long, long time. And it's a little passage in the Bible. It says, the meek shall inherit the earth. The meek shall inherit the earth. And I always looked at that and go, well, so you should be meek then? Is that what it's saying? I was like, how can the meek inherit the earth? Wouldn't they just give it away to somebody? Wouldn't they just not hold on to it? Wouldn't a bigger guy who's not so meek just take it off them? The meek shall inherit the earth. I never really understood it. I never understood it. Now, what Jesus means by meek, he's not using meek as in weak. The original translation, he called himself meek. So meek would have been someone who takes action, someone who does stuff. But as we all know, when the might of the Roman system grabbed him, he didn't fight back. He didn't fight back. He allowed himself to be tortured and killed. And in a very meek way. The meek shall inherit the earth. So, I never understood this. I never understood this until recently. Until recently, when I've seen one of the most powerful people on the planet, someone I would be afraid of. One of the most powerful people on the planet, who was connected in with politicians, in with business systems, business leaders, probably all connected in with the justice system, everything. Hugely protected. One of the most powerful people on the planet. Taken down. And is dead now because of some pretty meek people now. When I say meek, they took action. Now, who I'm talking about, of course, is Jeffrey Epstein. One of the most powerful people on the planet. One of the people that you could have destroyed anyone. There's obviously also Harvey Weinstein. Very, very powerful people. They're taken down by people who you could describe as meek. When the most powerful people on the planet are taken down by people who are meek, because we're in a time now. We're in the rapture now, where the meek are beginning to inherit the earth, where the first are becoming the last. You can see with Bitcoin now. Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto, I can't even say the name. Satoshi Nakamoto, no one knows who it is. Maybe it's a Japanese guy, maybe it's a Japanese name to throw people off the scent. But this guy, Satoshi Nakamoto, you could describe as meek. He created the most value that anyone's created on the planet ever. Billions and billions of value. I don't know what the price of Bitcoin is now, maybe 30,000 euro dollars, maybe 40,000, maybe 50,000. It doesn't really matter per Bitcoin. There's 21 million Bitcoins. Do you want to do some math there? He's created quite a bit of value. And that's not even to talk about the smart contracts that are built on the blockchain and built on Ethereum. And all the ones that will be in the future. He's created billions and billions of dollars of value. He could be living on a beach somewhere with people waiting on his every word. And incredibly famous. Everybody in the world would want to talk to him. And just infamous. Now the name is infamous, but no one knows who the person is. And how meek is that? that you have fame and riches and anything you want are open to you right now, just like the devil telling Jesus he can have the whole world. And Jesus saying no. Well, Satoshi Nakamoto said no. I don't want the whole world. I want to give something to the world, and he has given something incredible to the world. And lots of people have jumped on it, but the person who built it, we will never know who it is, who the person is. We have a name. It could be anything. It could be an Irish guy who just picked just picked a name sounding Japanese to throw people off the scent. Could have been anyone. I think it was an Irish guy. And he's disappeared. No one knows who he is, which is probably good. And for him, because I'm sure there's a lot of people who are not happy that Bitcoin has been created. But he's meek. He is incredibly meek. He's not looking for an Instagram lifestyle. He's not looking for adulation. He's not looking for people to tell him how great he is. He just created this and disappeared, just like that. And the meek, it's begun. The meek are inheriting the earth. It's really going, the first are becoming the last. Now it's only started. It's only started because there's going to be stuff happening with central banks. There's going to be stuff happening with governments. There's going to be stuff happening with all the powerful people, all the institutions. I'm going to suggest that all the institutions are going to start to crumble and fall their foundations in the next 10 years. I would suggest that maybe 2012 to about 2042 is the awakening, and it's the time when all of the institutions, the power, the things that we saw as power are going to start crumbling. And the same thing is going to happen in what we call education today, which is one centralized dictator writing curriculum for millions and millions of people in a country. One centralized dictator writing a curriculum for millions of people. The first shall become the last. The first shall become the last, where previously the unions were the most important thing. The government had to negotiate with the unions to give them what they wanted. The first will become the last, whereas the kids were the last thing to be taught about. The kids will become the first thing to be taught about. You can even see it now with Ad Astra and Astra Nova, Elon Musk schools. The kids are being asked what they want to learn for the first time. Well, the Montessori method did it a little bit as well, but that was only with very small kids, and that was a great system. But the first are becoming the last, where they were the last, and now they'll be the first that need to be negotiated with and decide what they want to learn. We are in this time of awakening. We're in this time where the meek are inheriting the earth. And we're in a time now. And I gave one or two quick examples, but there are thousands of examples out there, thousands of examples. And if you look out for the next 10 years, for the next 20 years, you're going to see more and more and more examples. All these things came out of nowhere. Jeffrey Epstein came out of nowhere. No one knew who he was. Everyone knew who he was. He wasn't known he wouldn't have been known to me until everything started coming out, for example. I imagine you as well. And same with what's happening to a lot of actors now. I don't know the rights and wrongs of it, and I'm not happy that anyone's having a difficult time. But I think if people have done bad, then, there is some karma that's going to come back. And institutions are crumbling. Institutions are crumbling. We're at a time now where politicians can be actually held to their promises, because people on the internet remember what they said, just like thousands of geeks remembering what they said, and then saying, well, he didn't do this on Twitter, didn't do this. It's a time where politicians have been held to account for the first time in hundreds of years. There's people looking into elections, checking elections, making sure there's nothing funny going on in elections. But these are really meek people. The people who are pulling this stuff down, these are really meek people. It's people like me, programmers, sit in front of a computer every day. Meek, really meek. Sometimes I'm not meek, I guess. But these are really meek people. Satoshi Nakamoto is a meek person who has inherited the earth. And these guys who sit there in front of computers and work out if politicians are lying, they're really meek. And the kids who were the last people to be taught about in the education system, they're meek. But they now are going to inherit this earth. They're going to inherit this earth and all the beauty and all the production in it. And I'm looking forward to it. It's been Alan here from Look for Warriors talking about this passage that's coming true now. When Jesus said it, he didn't say the meek are inheriting the earth right now. In his time, 2,000 years ago, he said the meek shall inherit the earth in the future. Today the meek are inheriting the earth. And the powerful are crumbling.